This is the Envisioners production. Welcome to Prolific Vision, where your vision matters, but mine is more important. This is Roland and Willie.
And I'm Madam Miller.
Today's show is about unemployment in the GTA, because that's where we live.
There's about 11% of unemployed individuals in the GTA alone. Now that's a lot of people.
That's a crazy amount of people. Because it's about 5 million people that live in the GTA. And of that 5 million, there's 10% unemployed. Or did you say 11?
11.5%.
11.5. We could do the math on that, but that would take all day. But that's about 500,000 people.
Yeah,
Somewhere
just about.
there, yeah.
So we can just conclude that there's a lot of people who don't have jobs. And that's a big issue, because if you don't have jobs, you don't have money.
You don't have money, then people turn to violence. And we see where that is also affecting the city.
That's right.
Of late.
That's right.
Since the recession.
That's right.
So what do you think the government is doing about this recession right now? Or about the unemployment rate, sorry?
Well, I don't think that the government is putting a lot of effort into making sure that we come up with a sound solution. So I'm just going to read a little bit about what the Toronto Star is saying about this issue. It says, this is an article written by Donovan Vincent, and it's entitled Welfare Jobless Rates Spark Concern. So a news report on Toronto's economic indicators paint that one councillor calls a very gloomy picture of the continuing impact of the global recession, including a 16% hike in the welfare rolls. The July report from the city's Economic Development Department finds an unemployment rate based on 3 months average of 11.5%, up from 8.5% a year earlier. The number of welfare cases jumped from 87,450 in May of this year from 75,237 in June of 2008, an increase of more than 12,000, which translates to 16,556 more individuals receiving assistance. It's a very gloomy indicator of the city's finances, and it's particularly worrisome for Toronto's economy. We appear stalled in the recession tunnel, says Councillor Brian Ashton, a critic of Mayor David Miller, who sits on the Economic Development Committee. So we can see that this is not just some fallacy that's going around, but there is really an issue with the amount of jobs that are available and the amount of jobs that people are receiving in the GTA.
Right.
So
compared to the US, we see here the US is it's down 9.8%. Now this was September of this year.
okay.
So I guess we could say it's affecting the US just as much, even though it's a bigger population, so we have more people.
Right.
So.
So one of the things that we have to look at, since this is our prolific view or our prolific vision, is how do you feel about the issues that are presented? How do you feel when you hear about things like this in your home city or your hometown?
Well, personally, when I hear about it, I think I remember I heard T.I. He made this quote. He was saying his grandpa told him that whenever you see somebody trying to do something to make money, you should it doesn't matter what it is, you should never try to down them or tell them not to do it, because him or her doing that takes that person away from like robbing you as a person,
Right.
who does stuff to help yourself. So therefore, those people who are unemployed, we have to be conscious that they might rob us. You know, you might think, you know what, I'm making money, I'm alright, but it affects everybody.
Right.
Those who have a lot, those who have a little bit, those who don't have any.
Mm-hmm.
We're all affected, so, you know.
Right, that's a very good issue that you brought up, that sometimes we don't think that somebody else's problem eventually becomes our problem. But even in the example of unemployment, that becomes an issue for us too. So that's the thing that we need to consider. So how would you prospect that we help in situations like that? If your friend or something doesn't have a job and you have a job, how do you pertain to change that situation or help it? Because it is ultimately your problem as much as it is there.
I don't know exactly what you do to help that person, because it's not like people don't try to get jobs. It's just that there is no job. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
even though you have a friend, I mean, the most you could tell them is try to get them not to get stressed out and then do the wrong things because they don't have a job.
Right.
But rather keep doing applying for jobs, keep going to workshops when they do present themselves, and stuff like that, and just try to keep on the right track.
Right.
Keep away from violence, because people usually, especially black people, as they say, usually result to selling drugs, robbing people and stuff like that. So you have a friend, whether it be black or white, whatever, you just try to keep that person, strengthen that person as much as you can.
Right.
And keep them on the right path. Yeah.
Right. Another thing is to always look out for opportunities to be able to help. So if you know that in your company they're going to be hiring, give them a little tip. Say, yo, come and apply. I'll put in a good word for you.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. But the truth is, in our community and our Toronto, is that as much as there's not much young blacks employed in the first place for you to be looking out for your friends.
That's true.
And that's our reality. I wouldn't want to say it's racist. I just would want to say that I think young blacks instill fear in these employers.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they don't want to employ them, right? They don't want to give them the job because they're scared of what these people might come into their business and do. Scared of weird customers, stuff like that, and even rob the employer.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reason why people are not, quick to, employ young blacks.
Right. And I just want to say that shouldn't be an issue for you to not, or rather an excuse for you to not go out there and apply.
Definitely not.
One of the biggest things is that we don't go out there and make a change. We don't go out there and get our resumes sent out. It's one thing to send out your resumes and not get a response. But if you're not even sending out your resumes, then
there's no response. You can't expect a response.
Exactly.
Right? So you definitely have to just keep trying, man. And know that the other people are gonna try twice. You must try 4 times harder. You just do what you gotta do. Make yourself presentable and follow the rules. And don't rob the people when you get the job, man, because that's just gonna make it worse for your buddy and whoever else who's trying to get a job.
Right.
So definitely that shouldn't even be a part of the equation.
Right. Exactly. All right. So here's a couple of tips so that when you actually do get called for the interview, you can think about these ways in order to get you past that interview. All right. Tip number 1 is be confident. Your first impression is your only impression. So you must remember that. Tip 2 is act as if you are what you believe. So if you believe that you're the best, act like you're the best. All right. Number 3 is know the company. Don't apply to Burger King if you've never eaten there. Right? If you only go to McDonald's, don't apply to Burger King because you don't know about the business, right?
Right.
And tip number 4 is be prepared. So you've got to know what you got to say. You got to know, okay, if this is on my resume, then I'm going to bring it out in my interview, right? Don't be talking mess in the interview when it's not on your resume. All right?
Right.
And tip number 5 is ask for the job. You get what you ask for. So don't go into the office pretending like you don't need it, right?
Right.
Don't pretend that it's not something that you want. Make sure that they know that you want it, right? And those are the 5 tips. Anything you want to add to that?
As far as, like like you say, you just have to have confidence, and you can't be overconfident either. You just gotta be smart and know that you impress the people, because that's what it's about. It's basically you selling yourself.